Managing them can be costly, time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be that way. Liquid Waste Management of Longmont, Colorado has been dedicated to recycling treatment plant biosolids since 1986. We help you plan and budget your project. We remove biosolids from wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plant backwash ponds, and animal waste and byproduct lagoons. And we transport them to land application sites for beneficial reuse. Our programs are fully turnkey. We do it all at a reasonable cost with proven performance and reliability. Want to learn more?
Well, if you do.
Yeah.
Click here for biosolids project planning. Click here for our program of compliance with all federal, state, and local government regulations.
Click on one.
Click here for biosolids removal from mechanical treatment plants, digesters. You've chosen compliance, our highest priority. We meet all EPA, state, and local regulatory requirements. We evaluate the biosolids intended for land application based on the EPA regulation Part 503 CFR and state and local requirements. If they meet those requirements, they can be land applied in an agronomically sound, fully compliant recycling effort. If they do not meet the requirements, we will evaluate other options such as composting, further treatment, or landfilling.
Does that look pretty to you?
At every step, we do all the testing, permitting, and record keeping needed to maintain
They're not
compliance.
expensive. What you're looking at is the $3,100 option, and I would not launch with that if you have nothing going. For a couple of reasons. First of all, it's expensive, so it's a pretty expensive throw of the dice. Second of all, you may not have a working prototype, in which case we're going to do some animation. Now, we could do that in this, but if you want to fire that with animation, the shorter the better. Let's put it that way. So if we don't need animation, then I can probably get you a 90-second for, oh, I don't know, $200 to $300 max. And if it's real easy, I'll come down with that. And then a companion brochure would get you to $600, and you could launch. And then take the money that you've made from that and buy one of these.
You selected our transportation and mobile belt pressing services. We can transfer liquid sludge from your facility using our watertight tanker trucks or by direct pipeline. Or we can bring our mobile belt pressing services right to your facility. Our 1.5 meter mobile belt press dewaters liquid sludge, converting it to a 12 to 25% cake.
This is $1 billion business.
That greatly reduces the overall volume, and that cuts down on the number of truckloads taken out for land application. In our planning phase, we compare the cost of hauling liquid residuals to the cost of on-site dewatering. Then, we recommend the most cost-effective method for your project. Our press is capable of dewatering aerobic and anaerobic sludges, lagoon sludges, water plant sludges, animal byproducts, and more.
Pardon me while I shoot.
Who does the video shooting?
Well, these are my highly portable glasses.
The liquid biosolids are either injected or surface applied at predetermined agronomic loading rates.
Flash will let you have
Our
2 or 3
cake biosolids are
loading
spread
screens.
using a spreader truck.
But
Biosolids
this
that
little
do not
computer's
meet
not gonna
vector
tolerate
attraction
that.
requirements
Some of the newer ones
can be
certainly will.
incorporated into the soil. Well, that's our story, except for one more detail. Many people in the region have benefited from our biosolids management programs. Ask our staff for the...
Let's see what we
I
got.
like that you have the keys on the screen.
How
You
much
can
did you
select.
charge for
You've chosen project planning, the
$3,100.
critical first step. Call on us early to discuss your objectives.
Now,
If your project involves lagoons or ponds, we usually perform a lagoon profile. We record a cross-section of existing water and sludge depths
show you.
and pull sludge samples for
Pass these
analysis.
around it.
For digester cleaning projects, we usually visit your site to estimate the sludge volume and determine the best and safest cleaning method. Then we provide a cost estimate covering the services, equipment, personnel, and reporting needed. We can customize a daily, weekly, or on-call biosolids removal schedule for your facility. We clean A basins, aerobic, and anaerobic digesters.
Light up very well.
We completely clean each
So I
tank by
attached my
removing
camera
the
to a
thickened
pole,
sludge, grit,
fed it down there,
and
shut it
rags in the
upside down, and then
vessels.
reversed it when I brought it back
We
up.
break up the contents, creating a
And I
biosolid
used
slurry.
Light Alive,
Then we pump the slurry into
same
our
thing we
watertight
use
tanker trucks for transport to land
for
application
nitrogen goggles.
sites. Or we can dewater the contents using a mobile belt filter press for land application or
Part of
composting.
the press. Part of the press run.
We also remove biosolids and other
the way we're
residuals
making
from
them
ponds
right
and
now,
lagoons by dredging or
Yes, we
pumping.
do. I still have them.
We recommend dredging for medium to large lagoons. Dredging allows the lagoon to remain in service, minimizing any disruption of plant operations.
These are
Our
much
dredging
thicker
equipment will
lamination.
not damage the lagoon liner, while leaving a small amount of biosolids along the bottom of the lagoon. Pumping is used for smaller lagoons or a complete clean-out or decommission of the lagoon. We start by removing the top water in the lagoon.
that's too
Then we pump the residuals to our tanker trucks for transport. In some cases, we may use a front loader or blade to push the wastes toward the pump.
CDs the size of business cards, and that forced us to run these things down to about 40 megs. So that forced us into a situation where we had to have some stills to go along with the video. But I no longer have that problem because now we're doing them on flash drives and make them as big as we want. And now everything moves and we're many more full screens, many more full screen sections. Let's see, what else should we watch? You guys having fun yet?
I don't see how you could have a more colorful topic than...
This is an interactive video about fun, presented by Fun Productions.
Only one color.
Until
Sally.
you've watched our presentation, you probably never stopped to think that fun is an industry. It is to us, and it's what we do best. We're Fun Productions, Colorado's leading event services company. We are nationally recognized as one of the best in our field. Special Events magazine included us in its list of the top 25 companies in the specialty party rental industry. Since 1991, Fun Productions has been a part of the best private parties and corporate special events in Colorado and the region. In a typical week, our team of 30 full and part-time personnel coordinate as many as 50 different special events. We have the widest variety of fun equipment, like interactives, inflatables, sports games, carnival equipment, concessions, video games, and casino nights. We specialize in a variety of events ranging from a small family event to a Fortune 500 company picnic or holiday party with over 2,000 employees and everything in between. Our clients call on us for their bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, school and church festivals, team building events, fundraisers, and galas. Invite us to your next special event. We can make sure your guests have a wonderful time, and you can relax knowing that you are in the best hands for all your entertainment and event needs. How do we do it? With a broad spectrum of services. We provide state-of-the-art entertainment equipment for all of your special events. We coordinate complete company picnics. We provide a variety of team adventures and team-building challenges. We can provide entertainers and the best talent for your special events. To see how others have enjoyed our services, click on the Testimonials button.
Alrighty, let's see. What do we look at here? You like this one? Is this one pretty enough for you?
You've clicked on our list of entertainers. Not only do we have any and all of the entertainment games and equipment for your
The thing I
events,
like about this,
but an impressive list of talented entertainers,
is that we're making
impersonators,
them right
and
now,
artists
because
to
it's
round.
anything you want.
You've selected our.
And if I'm making your
You've
brochure,
clicked on our
I'll match the
amusement.
colors.
You've selected Fun Production. You've
Fairly-
clicked on our list of entertainers.
fairly obvious that
Not
it's
only
set,
do we
see?
have any and all of the entertainment games and equipment for your events, but an impressive list of talented entertainers, impersonators, and artists to round out the perfect party or event. We have the very best balloon artists,
Now for this, once again, I write
magicians,
the script,
jugglers,
shoot all
face
the videos,
painters,
all the stills.
stilt
If I
walkers,
can't get there, I'll take whatever you have.
impersonators, fortune tellers,
If animation
clowns,
is needed, there's no extra
games
cost in the
wizards,
$3,100
musicians,
range.
bands,
For the
DJs,
time being,
and
I'll
much
try
more.
and give you free animation on the $150.
Our entertainers can MC your events,
$300
just
better.
perform, or both. Now, finally, click on the next button for several letters from people who
If you
have
have a
tried
prototype,
fun
that would be so much
productions
better.
and look to us first when planning
Or
their
at least something
most
we could-
important special events.
I think that's just about it for that. Unless you want to see another button.
Oh, that's good.
So what do you
That
think? You
all
like
fits, That all fits onto a little flash drive.
it? Yeah, that and much more, actually. You know, my entire set of samples fit on a flash drive without even using 10%. I have quite a few on there.
You can also depend how big is the flash drive.
Yeah.
You
2
can
gigabytes.
spend a fortune on these things, though. I had a client had a TV ad ready, like a 2.5 minute, and they spent $25,000 on it. But that's what, you know.
Well, I'll have to
professional
raise my
actors,
prices. You better get in
voiceover,
fast.
licensing, card animation. I mean, it was good enough to be a TV commercial.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the upper end.
Well, I think mine are good enough to be a TV commercial. I
Sure.
understand, so.
But, you know,
But-
the important thing, I mean, these days, a video is essential, so you can do your social media and promote your,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your invention is.
Right.
Some
Excuse
inventions
me.
lend themselves more to video, but
Let's see what we
like I said,
have
those
here.
things, it's probably, you know, an essential these days.
That's the way we're wired.
Yeah, and
We
you know,
like
like
seeing
even if
videos.
you do, maybe if you do crowdsource funding or something, you know, Kickstarter and stuff.
Yeah,
you have a good
Kickstarter's
video.
looking for about 90 seconds, about what I'd be selling for $300. It wouldn't be interactive, it would just boom, go.
What's the average well, this one are multiple
Kickstarter?
video. No, I mean, so what the length of time for this presentation? But you have multiple within, so you can, you know, click and go depending on the complexity
Yeah.
that you want to. Yeah.
We have options, button options. But the low end one's not gonna, there's not gonna be any room for button options. If you have 90 seconds, you don't wanna lose
Yeah.
any time clicking on anything.
Right, right. Yes.
We'll just get it all in there. And let's see, let's look at one that's not interactive. Yes.
This year, nearly 1.5 million Americans will be
I can do it.
diagnosed with cancer,
I could show
and more
you
than
one that's
half a
got
million
that.
Americans will die of it. There are approximately 225,000 new cases of breast and ovarian
We're
cancer
putting that
in the United
more
States
and more
annually,
these days, and what we're finding
and there will
are
be more than
historically
150,000
found
cases
in
of
one guy's
colorectal
computer, the
cancer
background
this
music will
year.
drown out the voice, and other guys it won't.
5 to
And we found out
18%
that
of all
that's
cancers
what
are
we're doing.
hereditary, caused
So
by an
in areas
abnormal
where
gene
nobody's supposed to say
that
anything
passes
at all,
to
you know,
successive
there's just the
generations.
endorsements. We just put the background
Early
music
and
on,
accurate
people spread
diagnoses
right
in many of these hereditary
And our
cases
background music
can
is
make the
nice.
difference
You know,
between
I,
successful and
I bought
unsuccessful
needle drops and
treatment
both of many of the
programs.
people who make Cajun music, a lot of good
Accurate
programs.
diagnosis can save a life. It can help make one more patient a cancer survivor.
And what is this? This is
Diagnostic
sticky audio.
approaches
This is
to
no good.
determine hereditary cancers are currently limited to gene sequencing. The process is complex, cumbersome, and expensive.
Let's go back into this for a minute, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we had only audio on.
This year, nearly 1.5 million Americans will be diagnosed with cancer, and more than half a million Americans will die of it.
That's
There
my
are
voice, by the way.
approximately 225,000 new cases of breast and ovarian cancer in the United States annually,
And this
and there will
mates
be
with
more than
this.
150,000 cases of colorectal cancer this year.
And we're at our best, you know, we double up.
5 to 18% of all cancers are hereditary, caused by an abnormal gene that passes to successive generations.
The biosolids.
Early and accurate diagnoses in many of these hereditary cases can make the difference between successful and unsuccessful treatment programs.
Well, the point is, many people have
Accurate
ungrown risk,
diagnosis
but
can
nevertheless quite
save a
useful
life.
inventions.
It can help make one more patient a cancer survivor. Diagnostic approaches to determine hereditary cancers are currently limited to gene sequencing. The process is complex, cumbersome, and expensive, and it takes a month for results. More and more genetic markers are being identified. These are key
Angelina
factors
Jolie
in
basically
diagnosis
had
and
3-day
treatment
diagnosis
planning.
before she decided
Tissue
to
genetics
have a
has
prophylactic,
proprietary biomarkers and patented
vasectomy.
diagnostic
And
tests
she used this system.
to identify patients
in the TGI
with many
program.
types of inherited disease. Our tests
48
help
hours
guide the
instead of 6
physician
weeks.
to determine the optimum courses of treatment. We eliminate the lag time between identifying the hereditary cancer and determining the treatment regimen. There are two well-known breast cancer genes, BRCA1 and BRCA2. Mutations in these genes are responsible for the majority of inherited breast and ovarian cancers.
Getting
People with
depressed?
these gene mutations also have an increased risk for developing pancreatic, colon, and prostate cancers. The BRCA mutation for hereditary breast and ovarian cancers appears in 7% of breast cancer patients and 18% of ovarian cancer patients. The BRCA gene mutation also carries an increased risk of a secondary cancer occurrence and an increased cancer risk for a patient's family. BRCA cancers respond differently to specific chemotherapy and radiation treatments.
Seen enough?
BRCA2 patients respond
Some more?
especially well to radiation therapy, often requiring lower doses, sometimes as little as
My mother died of cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
My sister's husband has cancer right now.
Hodgkin's lymphoma?
Lung cancer. She had lymphoma plus breast cancer.
There's some surprisingly new things coming out there. Once again, we have audio, no video.
water. It makes up 70% of the human body. It covers 78% of this planet. More than half of our planet's life is aquatic life, and all life
More and
depends
more
on
we're
it.
drifting toward full screen.
We consume water and we use it to carry off our body
And we use
wastes.
carriers that
Now there's the human
will
conundrum.
hold more data.
Wastewater must be made potable. That's our dedication at Ramey Environmental Compliance. Potable water and government regulations designed to keep it potable.
Several squares on the screen. I don't know why I like that so much.
We specialize in professional contract operation of water and wastewater facilities throughout the Rocky Mountain and Eastern Plains regions. We have more than 25 years of experience in the water treatment industry, countless success stories, numerous awards, and national recognition from the EPA. We're winners of the Rocky Mountain Water Environment Association's State of Colorado Collection Award, and the Rocky Mountain Water Environment Association Colorado, New Mexico, and Wyoming Plant Performance Awards, and many more. Our staff is professionally certified for operation, maintenance, and management of all types and sizes of water, wastewater, and industrial wastewater treatment systems. Now, we have a lot to tell you. This is an interactive presentation, so let's interact. Each of these buttons deals with an area of our company's activities. Click on the one that interests you.
Oh, let's see.
Hello, I'm Wayne Ramey, President of Ramey Environmental Compliance. I wanted to thank you for watching our interactive video presentation. There's a lot of information in there, but there's also a lot more to tell. I'm hoping you'll give our company a call or drop us an email so we can apply our experience to your particular water treatment problem. In the meantime, let's protect our waters. They are this planet's most important liquid asset.
Okay, well, I hope this presentation is worth your $15. So, one thing I can guarantee you is that I'm about 1/3 the price of my competitors. My price to sell. Excuse me, not that I have an inferiority complex. I think I'm better than any of them.
What software do you use for that?
I've been using Flash, but I'm going to be switching to HTML in order to get the next generation of customers, the people we're shooting and working on right now, onto YouTube.
So what was the software?
Native HTML?
Yeah,
Wow.
HTML will get you on YouTube, and HTML will work on your Apple devices too.
Oh, both.
Yeah, so if you want to use
How
the
about on mobile? Like not all the tablets and phones have Flash, right?
well, they'll all take HTML, but Flash is still good for a wide variety of tablets, a very wide variety. You know, I'm trying to think. There's a whole new generation of fairly inexpensive tablets. I'm trying to think what the software is.
Samsung?
Huh?
No Samsung.
It is Samsung, actually.
Oh.
So Galaxy will take Flash. But Flash is in a war with Apple, you know, so I've had to go ahead and duck that. I've been in the crossfire too long.
Software war.
Flash is very, very user friendly, but I could get fairly good responses here, and because we're drifting toward a couple of things that are fairly traditional. In the good old tape-based days, I had nothing but full screen, and now people's tastes are going back to that. So if they don't require much of the effects I've shown you here, then I could do this on HTML. So you click on a button and basically you see what amounts to a movie.
Without interaction.
Yeah, there'd be interaction. You click on a button, as I say, and then you see a movie. But what you don't see is a couple of moving screens simultaneously. And you don't see screens flipping in and out of there all the time.
You know HTML pretty well, huh?
Yeah. So, let's see. Endorsements. We use music whenever we can. But short of that, there's a variety of price ranges we could work with.
It totally depends on the product you're trying to sell.
I'd say that's true. Would your uses involve cloud source funding initially? Is that what we're dreaming about? Are you allowed to tell me that?
I'm considering it, yes.
Okay, then you probably should stay with the low end. Save yourself some money, save your cash. Get your funding, and then at some point when you've got something good in the way of a prototype, come on back and we'll do one of these. Let's see, let's look at some others here.
I think it's always important to get your product out in the market as soon as possible and kind of road test it before you go too crazy on.
Hardwood flooring to give your home the look of timeless elegance, traditional enduring beauty. Nothing can take its place. It outlasts carpeting, it's easier to clean and maintain, and it can often be installed for less. It adds considerably to the value of your home. From its inception in 1993, T&G Hardwoods and its retail outlet, the Hardwood Store, have been dedicated to excellence in flooring, the finest materials available, applied with the highest standards of craftsmanship. Our management group has a combined 75 years of flooring experience. To us, the detail work is automatic, and that leaves us free to innovate your flooring designs. Yes, we're artists, we admit it. Any craftsman would admit it, but our finished product is not just your beautiful floor, it's your complete satisfaction. Accordingly, we don't use subcontractors. We want you to have our work at our best. Well, so much for us. Let's talk about your floor. We want to use this interactive video to talk about your flooring options. Pre-finished floors, or floors finished on site, flooring that we install in your home, or flooring you install with our expert guidance. We want to show you the floor installation process. And lastly, we want you to electronically meet some of our satisfied customers. Press button 1 for the comparative advantages of pre-finished versus site-finished floors. Press button 2 for the comparative advantages of using T&G hardwoods to install your floor completely. This compared to purchasing your materials from our hardwood store and installing the floor yourself using our expert guidance. Press button 3 for the installation and finishing processes and follow-up maintenance. And lastly, press button 4 for some insights from our previous customers. You've pressed button 3. If we install your floor, or if you do it yourself, the process will be the same. We like to deliver the wood to your house early, a week before the job is to begin. That gives the wood a chance to acclimate to the surroundings, particularly to the moisture level. If the floor is pre-finished, the boards will be cut, fitted, and installed. And if it's pre-finished, that's the end of the process. It can take as little as 1 day. If the flooring is not pre-finished, the process continues from there. The floor is sanded flat to prepare for staining. All dust is drawn from the room, and the room is sealed as much as possible. The floor is stained, then finished, and then you clean up. Air out the room, and move in the furniture. You now have a lovely hardwood floor under your feet. Well, now you know a good deal more than you knew before, but you still might want to talk to some people who've been through the process. You can't talk to them now, of course, but if you press button 4, a couple of them could say a few words to you.
For years, I thought hardwood floors were an unneeded expense, too extravagant for me and too rich for my blood. Tell you what, my T&G floor cost me a lot less than I expected. I enjoyed it for years, and when I sold my house, that floor paid for itself several times over.
Yeah, that part of it, that's just general.
I think it's fascinating that you have, that you've morphed through 3 or 4 or 10 different generations. And now you're morphing into yet another one, into YouTube's.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Fascinating but expensive. I have to do it to stay in business.
You have to relearn, but it's all.
Well, I don't relearn. I hire the people that already know it. Don't misunderstand that. It's very kind of you to say that.
You hire the whiz bangs that are skilled at that new thing.
Exactly.
The class down there is going to be focusing on patent publications.
Can I answer any questions for you? Or do you want to see some more?
How long does it take?
Oh, it could take a month.
Oh, a month is nothing compared to all the hassles that come at you.
And then this is
a month is
this is that presentation we had on financing.
Is your business seasonal? Like
no, I don't think so.
You're not more busy in the spring than you are in the winter?
No, it depends on what year. Actually, you know, I've had some fast summers, hot summers, slow summers.
That's on financing.
Oh,
for your.
You know, we usually get a little bit busier toward the end of the year, so people can blow their tanks for tax purposes.
That makes sense
too. So they buy them just before the end of the year. But that's about it.
You've done it for quite a while,
I started out with brochures in 1978. I stopped counting those at 800. I made a great many brochures.
Yeah.
And then when the piano key VCRs came in, I saw yet another opportunity because a lot of my customers were complaining that my customers' customers can't read. So I had to come up with something that they could use. Excuse me. So I hit on these klutzy tape-based. And they were basically about what the industry's moving to now. You know, it's basically full screen, no simultaneous moving screens. All the cute little things that I like on a computer, you know, the VCR didn't have. And yet, for some reason, I can't figure out. A lot of people are drifting toward full screen. They want to make it look like a motion picture, a real quote professional movie. So while these things ran for quite a while, the new sales right now are going to be much, much more full screen. And as a matter of fact, it'd probably be a lot like the last two you saw, Liquid Waste Management and Ramey Environmental.
When you say full screen, what do you mean exactly?
Well, let me show you again.
Without the buttons.
No, there would be buttons, don't misunderstand.
Oh.
But there wouldn't be 2 or 3 things coming in, not squares moving in and out.
Oh, so just one
frame,
story, right?
Precisely.
One image.
One image.
I'll show you one more time.
Oh, no coming image from.
No coming in from the sides, that's
Oh,
right.
I see. Okay.
This is full screen.
Well,
rather than 4 little pictures.
Precisely.
okay.
So you could still have graphics coming in.
I see no reason why not.
Video, okay.
But not.
Water. It makes up 70% of the human body. It covers 78% of this planet.
The preference.
More than half of our planet's life is aquatic life, and all life depends on it. We consume water and we use it to carry off our body wastes. Now there's the human conundrum. Wastewater must be made potable. That's our dedication at Ramey Environmental Compliance.
I think so.
Potable water and government regulations designed to keep it potable. We specialize in professional contract operation of water and wastewater facilities throughout the Rocky Mountain and Eastern Plains regions. We have more than 25 years of experience in the water treatment industry. Countless success.
I want to hear you guys' reaction to this idea. You know, on the couple of inventions that I've had that have worked and a couple that I'm thinking about, I always come back to the idea that everything I do in life is based upon the fact that I've been a real estate broker for 40 years. So everything is a sales pitch.
It's a noble profession.
It's all a sales pitch. And so I get this feeling like if you have the greatest invention ever and you really love it, you still can only give the sales pitch for it 100 times until you're just sick of it. Until you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it.
That never happens.
And it seems to me like
Trust me, that never happens.
That always happens. I mean,
I never get tired of talking what I do. You think you're the first guy I met today?
I get tired of
You're the fifth.
Whatever it is I'm selling, after about 100 pitches, I'm tired. I don't want to do the sales pitch anymore. And that's why we need why we need what you need to do, is because you can make it so that you can record it once.
Right, that's the same pitch for us.
And spit it over and over again.
Right.
The fascinating thing is, and I don't see that there's any way to get to the numbers on this, is how do you get the right marketing piece to match the right invention? Because some inventions are world shaking, and certainly the ones I think of are not. They're more.
Well, that's too bad. I think these are much better with world shaking
inventions. World shaking inventions. Oh, I should give you guys my card.
I've got some game changers.
Yeah, yours is you're talking about changing the world with hydrogen. I'm just talking. I have 2 cards.
Well, wind.
Wind? Wow.
I have 2 cards. One of them is my alter identity of running search and rescue. In Summit County, I run all the search and rescue missions in Summit County when there's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, up the hill here. And then the other one's the real estate one, just to
very nice cards.
There's one for you, Roger.
All right, thanks. Is that include Winter Park?
No, Summit County is Frisco, Dillon, Breckenridge, Copper Mountain.
Yeah.
So what that is,
mostly brick.
what that's happened is it's meant that I have dug more people out of avalanches than anybody in North America. I'm like 30.
You know about avalanches.
I know about avalanches. I go to all the when you hear about plane wrecks in the mountains of Colorado, that's me. That's at the plane wrecks. Wow. And so the kind of invention ideas that I have are inventions within that realm.
Well, they would sell to government then, wouldn't they?
They're not real estate inventions. They're things that you would use in the commission of rescuing people.
Sure.
And that's that's the kind of stuff that
Have you
I
heard about the airbag thing?
Oh yeah, and then I watch these inventions come out. The airbag's a perfect example. That people say, you can wear this backpack that if you see you're being caught in an avalanche, you pull the ripcord and it pops open this bag. What a stupid invention that is.
Yeah,
That
but I
is
heard
a
those
stupid.
didn't really help people.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't do anything.
It's
It's a
not
total
effective, huh?
gimmick thing.
Huh.
Or another one is the avalung, which is a tube that you see. Oh, and an avalanche is about to hit me, and you stick a tube in your mouth and you hold this and it breathes so that you breathe in the air that's in front of your body and you exhale to the back of your body so that you can survive under the snow for a while. I've dug 38 dead people out of avalanches.
My word.
And you know what? That invention would not have helped a single one of them. They would not help a single one.
Well,
and yet,
a lot of times they die of the trauma of
it's almost always. Because it's like,
suffocation, yeah.
you know, you say, let's suck on this thing when the avalanche hits you. First of all, you're not going to have strong enough bite to hold it in your mouth
And
when
it
you get
might
hit.
just get jammed in your
Can
face.
you move your arms when you're when you're under the snow?
Your arms move around until as the snow is moving you, but when it comes to a stop, within a second, the snow just goes and sets up like concrete. You don't move.
And you
anymore.
can't shove your way
But
through.
by then, you're dead. You're already dead by then because it's like being hit by a truck. But that's not the way it's portrayed. And so there's these inventions that come out that are making inventors money, but they're dumb. They're dumb inventions.
Well, how about the little beeper? I would say that would. Of course, you have to find a way to turn it on.
I'm going on a hut trip in another week.
Hut to hut. I remember
Skiing
that.
up to a hut.
In Bell Pass.
I've been there.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm going with 20 people, and they said, let's have a little, and these are all people that have lived in Summit County for a long time and are really good skiers. They said, let's have Dan show us how to use our avalanche beacons. They all have beacons.
Yeah.
None of them knew how to use them. I was totally shocked. None of them knew how.
But that concept works, you feel?
It helps find a dead body.
God.
Helps find a.
Well, that helps if you want to collect the
So
insurance.
You're
I mean,
not there until spring.
Yeah, so you don't wait for
yeah,
months.
so my heirs won't be able to collect
I didn't
anything.
mean to go
until
into all that thing. I just
Sure,
wanted
sure.
I wanted your reaction to the statement that you only have so many sales pitches for an invention, and if you can, is that what? Since you guys are in the business professionally to help inventors, what kills them? Is it they run out of money? Is it because they? It's like Todd and I were talking about. What kills
No
them?
idea.
It's the transition from the idea or the technological concept to an operating business. It's a huge transition, and you need money, you need time, and you need talent. You need other people with specialties outside of yours, and getting that all together is a real challenge.
Getting that team together.
And it's
expensive.
There's so many decisions like how do you sell it? Where do you price it? What quality level? Where do we make it? You know, the color, its packaging, and all. It's so open, and all these things they're critically important. Because people can take one product and fail, and someone else can take it very closely and succeed greatly because they got that transition right or better. But I get people, I give them a patent and trademark, and they're all happy, but they still, it's a real struggle.
That's what Todd and I were talking about while we're waiting for you guys. Is who has the ability to hang in and keep working on it. I don't have that much ability to hang in on things. I just have the ability to see that there needs to be some new things come up with.
Yeah,
I think I can address
I think
you.
it's just that it's probably teaming up with the people with the right knowledge, connections, and experience. That's really the key. It's really the key.
Marketing is always big.
So when you watch people take off like a rocket, some of them fail because of all the things that have been mentioned. I don't know.
Well, like they say, I'd rather have a mediocre idea and a great business team than a great idea and a mediocre business team.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that. I like to hear that.
And inventors, when they start, they're so focused on the idea that, and they go, oh, it's got to solve a problem and everything. And it's like, wait a minute, people make millions of dollars in video games. They don't solve any problems. People make a lot of money not solving problems.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, you're not as strong as if you do. The best structure for either the video or the sales presentation is problem solution. And you start out
I don't
just.
understand you right now, so keep talking.
Okay. It's
I
a
don't understand what
prima
you're saying.
facie case as if argued in court. There's a problem that exists in the status quo. It's widespread. It's inherent. A Band-Aid won't cure it. It's hurting a lot of people. Something has to be done. We have trouble here in River City. Now, my invention solves all those problems. So if the problem is the need, the plan meets the need. You basically show, here's how, first of all, it solves this aspect of the problem, that aspect of the problem, the third and the fourth aspect of the problem. Boom, 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 boom. You buy my solution and you have no more problem. The problem disappears.
That's a
the
fact.
pill cures the ailment.
People think it's a problem for them, but the general public may not see it as a problem, especially one to spend money on ear gadgets.
Have you guys been seeing the news media the last day or two about this giant mudslide up in?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
If that happened in Golden, it would be me that was in charge of that whole operation to find those people.
It's very impressive.
Well, I'm sorry to be so arrogant.
That sounds like it's worse than an avalanche.
Well, if we weren't arrogant, we'd never know it, would we?
But the truth of the matter is, the truth of it is, I know most of the people that are responding to that in Oregon or in Washington are people that I've trained with search dogs, with FEMA dogs, and so I know those people. The tools that they have to respond to that kind of disaster are really not that great. And yet,
well, yeah, I mean, how often is massive mudslides happen?
And I don't want to go down that path. I just want to be generalistic in saying it's fascinating to me for those of us that want to become inventors when we grow up, how the heck what's gonna wreck you. And I've watched it in the real estate brokerage business in my life. I've watched hundreds of people start off to become real estate agents, because what could be easier than showing people a few houses sign
easy
here?
When you haven't done it.
But the reality of it is, 99 out of 100 people fail that try to do the real estate business, and I'm fascinated by why they fail. I guess maybe that's.
It's not the only business that has that problem. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm sure that's the only business I know about, though. I think it's pretty funny that you live in the neighborhood where I grew. That your office is in the neighborhood I grew up in.
We're not expecting any mudslides, I hope. Are we?
No mudslides there. No mudslides there.
But here's the thing, and here's why your particular string of inventions lend themselves so well to problem solution. First of all, what you have to prove is vulnerability. You're safe sitting around your house, but if you want any real adventure, you're not going to be sitting around your house. You're going to be going where you're in danger. My invention at least minimizes your danger.
Yeah, that's the ones that I highlighted did. I'm going to tell you guys, taking counsel's advice, I'm going to tell you one of my invention ideas that isn't my best idea, but it'll make a point.
That's why he's giving it to us.
You should have brought some releases or some damn thing we could have signed.
No, one of the things that my wife and I have done is train dogs to find people buried in avalanches, and she's probably the best one in the. We've been all over the world training avalanche dogs. I'm sick of training avalanche dogs because you got to dig holes, bury people, have the dogs come find them, tell the people what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. I don't want to give that sales pitch anymore. But one of the things that you also can use these dogs for is to find somebody who's drowned, in a lake. You hear about that in Denver 5 times a year. Somebody will drown, some kid or somebody will be drowned in the lake.
Yes, you do.
You bring in a good water dog, you can find them pretty fast, about 15 minutes fast.
How do they, by smell?
By the smell comes up, and that's the idea of the invention. The scent just comes up through the water. It's actually totally easy. For a good dog, it's totally easy. The scent will come up. And that's what happens in an avalanche too. The scent comes up. The dog goes over and says, "Hey, I smelled 100 people, but the person that I'm smelling that I can't see is right here." And they start sniffing around, digging. You stick a probe pole, and you go, "There they are." Well, in the water, the scent starts to come up. You go by, the dog's in the boat. You go by, and the dog runs to one side of the boat, and then he runs to the other side of the boat because you've gone over the spot. You throw a buoy out that has a little ratchet on it, and we have these, and it just goes, spins, and it anchors itself so the buoy stays there. And then you do the whole search over again a couple times, and you look and go, look, all of our buoys are in one spot. That's where the scuba diver goes down and finds the person.
Fishes out what's left of me.
Yeah, if it brings the person up, and and all the beer cans that are laying on the beach and the upside down boat and the screaming relatives, that's all part of that scene too.
Yeah.
But my invention idea is, again, this isn't my best one, and actually, if one of you guys stole this idea and did it, I'd be pretty happy because then it would have gotten done. Otherwise, it's just in my head. Because I'm not going to do it. I mean, I need to find somebody that would help me make a little radio-controlled submarine like the ones kids play with now. That they can you could drive it out there and dive it 20 feet down, and then it pops back up 5 minutes later. Because training these dogs, everybody across the country that's training water search dogs would love to have a little submarine that's made out of not flimsy plastic, but made out of like sewer pipe type plastic. So if the dog accidentally gets a hold of it, PVC, so the dog could bite it and it wouldn't wreck it. And in the end of the sub, in the nose of the sub, has an open part that you take a big wad of human hair that you get from the barber, and you stuff it in there and close it so that the water goes through there, and the scent of that hair could come up to the surface. That way you can take your dog out, keep the dog from looking for a minute, run the sub out 50 feet offshore, dive it down, and then have the dog go alert on where that.
Oh, it's like a drone for training.
Yeah, it's just an underwater drone.
Just to put the scent there, and then you could do it easy. The dog could start out real easy, only a foot under the water, a foot from shore, and you make it harder and harder until the dog becomes.
Well, you don't need anything quite that fancy. Just a drone that'll show the drowning person.
You know what we do now? You know what we do now?
All you have to do is check the whole ocean.
What we do now is we put the hair into like a nylon stocking, and we attach it onto the end of a rope, and put a rock on it, throw it out in the lake, and try to get it the right. But then you can't get it the right depth, and you can't retrieve it, and it's a mess. If you had a cutesy little, and you know these sheriff's departments. There's a lot of sheriff's departments across the country. The sheriff's departments would pay $500, $2,000, $500 to $2,000 for a little sub they could use to train dogs with. And every sheriff's department wants to have their little. So that's an idea.
And for dog training, exclusively, somebody.
Yeah, it would be.
Not just for.
It would train. It would train the search dogs how to find people that are.
That would work for snow recovery too. Sure.
Snow recovery. It's just for water. Just for water. In doing snow recovery, it's too easy to just. You can bury a backpack or bury a glove or whatever, but see the snow you can walk over, dig the hole, put it in, shovel it over, and it's done. Right. Whereas in the water you can't. It's not so easy to walk around and set it up.
Nice, yeah.
When it's not training and there is a drowning, they can bring the thing to the drowning and search the lake with it. In addition to training.
That'd be a much better use.
And they have the trouble is the camera sees about this far, and the camera can't smell the victim.
Water is murky, most of the time.
The water's so
there is that.
Well, I'm just saying that, say the dog finds the victim in the water, you can send a thing down to see if it's really there.
Sure.
You already bought the thing, right?
Then it'd be a more elaborate.
It's in the closet.
Then it would be.
There'd be a lot of uses for a drone submarine, I would think. I think you'd hunt buried treasure with it.
Right.
That's what I would do.
Hunt for the airplane that fell in the lake up at Ridgeway.
Yeah.
You could pitch it as a dual use instead of just the one.
And at the point, but those are the kind of.
I wonder if that's
all the
packable,
adventures
if there's
you get
anything
around.
left
What kind of
open.
ideas
That'd
do
be
they
a
have?
big hole if it
What
was.
kind
I'd
of
be
ideas? I have
amazed.
tons of those kind of ideas. But they're real specialty
Well,
things.
that's probably better in the long run because in our group, the people that have done better have more of a niche product, and I think a lot of it is they reach their market easier than a general consumer product, which you're in a lot of competition with a lot of advertising.
And other people are nobody's inventing a submarine to use for training dogs right now.
No.
Nobody's doing that.
Like if you
Not
can
imagine.
run a little ad in like a specialty magazine
Search and
that
Rescue
only goes to
magazine.
the right people,
Yep.
it's very effective.
So that's interesting. So you've been doing this all this time, and it really is true. The little specialty market things sometimes are better.
And the other thing is you have your own space. Very few or no competitors.
Yeah.
Better markups.
I like all that.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're in a general consumer product, you're always competing with companies with far more resources, and that's difficult. I was thinking of Len Hyatt. He had that tennis scoring thing he made, and he built about 20,000 of them in his garage. He had some people helping him. Then he sold out to his major customer, and he pocketed like $500,000 on that. So now he had money, so he invented this leaf clam rate thing. He's an engineer, general consumer product. He dumped about 50,000 into it, and it never went anywhere. So he gave up on it. So he's still ahead, but he learned to stick with niche products.
Just for another big cookie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what's the ingredients?
Those are good.
What are the?
And they're Italian.
If they're
Really?
gluten-free.
Some
Wow.
Italian, yeah.
What's the ingredients? What's the?
It's well, I don't know. You have to look at the label.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But
Well-
they're good.
okay. This label, right? Oh, yeah, they're good.
Before I forget, I'd like to go ahead and address your
question.
Your problem solution.
Yeah.
The people wear out giving the same pitch over and over
Yes.
again. They don't just wear out, they have the flu someday when they're making a presentation.
Oh,
And this will actually mechanize your presentation. You come in with what I have right here. Bring in one of these if you like, or a large enough screen laptop, and just sit down and plug it in and show what I just showed you. Failing that, if you can't get there, you simply go ahead and send the flash drive. See? The other option is if you're there and you're feeling fine, go ahead and show it anyway. Especially if you want to show the device in action and you're sitting in an office.
Yeah.
And the device belongs underwater.
Yeah, you guys were all nodding your head like, I get it, but you know, if you saw it, if you actually saw a video of something doing what I'm talking about, you'd go, oh yeah, that is better.
No, I dare say it is, but I don't need to be convinced. You know, I'm trying to convince you.
That's right.
I'm in no position to buy what you have anyway. I don't think.
No, unless you want to train a Labrador Retriever to find drowned people.
Do they have to?
That's a bit out of my line.
Maintained, like you just can't train them and they're fixed for life.
The dogs, no, the dogs have to go practice. Every couple of weeks they got to be out there practicing it.
Well,
that's why if you have this little device, it makes it way easier to do the practice.
You're going to be using it over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So,
what about the flash drive? I mean, isn't that giving away your?
there is that. They can take and video a ball game or something.
Yeah.
Can't stop them. But all we can do is hope that they'll go ahead and take a look at it and they want your product. If they don't want it, don't give them the flash drive. They probably won't even accept it. See? I'd be very surprised if people who you've either spoken to substantially about the invention have shown real interest or manipulating you to get a flash drive. And that would really surprise me. But
No, I'm not
sure
talking about stealing a flash drive, stealing your
Which is-
copy or whatever on it, and then using it.
there's always that risk. Make sure you patent first.
I don't know, just they could edit it, and
Well,
website people.
they run the same risk. You would run the same risk with a brochure. You would run the same risk with a personal presentation. And every time you go ahead and invent something and you don't feel it's properly protected when you try to sell it to somebody, they could very easily reverse engineer it on you. You know, that happens all the time.
What about licensing? Couldn't he just sell that license to somebody?
Yeah, that's always an option. I mean, once you can license a pending patent. It happens, but more traditionally approved one, and they should. It's a piece of property. Licensing a patent's like leasing real estate, and infringements like trespassing. You know, all the ownership of a patent, or most of trademarks and copyrights, is just like real property. All the ownership issues. The licensing is something you usually have better luck with once the product is established and people see it. It's awfully hard to license something brand new because it's too much of an unknown. So usually people, they'll start, they get some volume production and they're selling in, say, lower volumes, and they want to reach out to a more of a remote market or different use. And then there's this company that's in that market, so they license from you, and then they do everything, because it's too hard for you to get into the market.
Well, that said, the inventor's dilemma is very substantial.
So you couldn't just have an idea, pay the $150, get it provisional, and then pitch it to a manufacturer, and then they can manufacture.
We've got a presentation coming up probably in May on this, but the odds of success are about 1 in 200 of you getting an agreement that even breaks even. Whereas if you start a business, your odds of success are about 1 in 10.
That is much better.
So not great either way, but
anyway,
it's just
I appreciate that reality.
the licensing deal is more of a scale up success thing than a startup. Because a company that's going to license, you're asking them to take over the product and get it out in the market and make it and everything, and that's a lot of risk and expense. So they're not going to be that motivated to do it unless the product's already established and being made and proven. It's kind of like the train's moving out of the station and it's not stopped.
Doesn't have to be moving that fast, but it has to be
No.
moving.
I've had one client succeed at getting an IEDA license from the get-go, but he had very strong direct connections in this company and knew the right people, so that kind of that skews everything. But if you're just approaching a company, it's pretty difficult.
But isn't that what you really don't want to do? Is the manufacturing, the marketing, and all?
Well, you can contract that out.
You're talking about persistence and follow through, right?
Yeah. On that particular idea, I don't do. That's why I brought it up as an example, is because I don't want to do much of any of it.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a good example. I thought it'd be a good example to do, but I like it from the point of view that you could make these little subs you could make them for along with a neat carrying case for $100, and you could sell them for literally $1,000. I like that part. I think you could sell hundreds and hundreds of them.
The remote control electronics
is all done.
Incredible. I mean, like you can buy these quadriceptors now.
Yeah.
And you can pick up a GoPro and
you know, people are pitching those to me now. Every 2 weeks.
For real estate,
every
the
2
flyovers.
Weeks. No, not the real estate deal. Every 2 weeks, somebody will come to me with my search and rescue hat on and say, "I got this new quadcopter and I can fly it through the goggles and I can see everything with the GoPro, and I cannot come up with why we need one." I can't come up with a mission.
You need a problem solution model.
I don't really have the right problem for these hobbyists. Have $5,000 quadcopters and they're cool as anything.
Sure.
But they're not. I can't come up with why we really need one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can only fly a couple of miles and they have to have pretty good weather.
Right. They can't handle much wind at all.
And you gotta have pretty good weather, and and even though they say, well, if it messes up, you just flip the switch and it'll fly back and land right back where it came from.
Wow.
That's really cool, but there's trees and there's wires.
That's when the GPS is back its path, but they've crashed and burned. I mean, I've read the stories where someone, I mean, it goes up and you're flying it just on video and it's out of sight, and then it's like it never comes back, and like, well, there's thousands of dollars.
Yeah, now we gotta go find
You're never gonna find, it's another Malaysia 370. I mean, it's like never found. There's your GoPro. That's $300 to $500, and your quadcopter. It's like another 1,000 easily.
Easy. And for a good, powerful. Did you guys read about this doctor that's been missing up outside of Vail? He was this last week. We spent probably $700,000 of your taxpayer dollars on military helicopters. We spent